Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So great to see so many familiar faces and friends here today. I'm really excited to kick off the 2016 tax season. As you can see from our panel of distinguished guests, we are doing it in style once again. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This is a really special year for us because 2016 marks our 15th anniversary of doing free tax preparation and asset building here in Baltimore City. A little round of applause for 15 years. So I've personally been involved with Baltimore Cash for 13 of those years as a volunteer, as a steering committee member, and as a staff member, and I've got the bug. I was sharing this story with some folks earlier. I am into this work and more committed than ever, and I really feel like we're part of a movement right now, and it's really exciting times. So what have we been up to for the last 15 years? In those 15 years, we have served over 100,000 low-income families. We have helped families receive over $190 million, that's $1 million, in tax refunds and earned income tax credits. And we've saved families over $15 million in unnecessary filing fees from staying out of those predatory places and coming to our tax sites for free. We've also been really busy part of the national movement to help connect and keep savings bonds on the tax forms. We've been pilot testing and figuring out best practices for financial coaching and financial education. If it has to do with money, we have something to do with it. We want to be a part of it. And we're not done yet. We have a lot to look forward to. There, of course, is a lot of work to do. Right now, we know that the phones are ringing off the hook over at our dear friends at United Way. First Call for Help, who are 211 system, who are answering those calls. And we know that every year we get more calls from people that we can't serve. I think there's more we can be doing to expand our tax sites and expand our services here in Baltimore City. This is the National Week of Action, so we're joining with partners around the country, believe it or not, that do work just like us, in celebration of National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day today. And the Corporation for Enterprise Development, a big think tank in DC, has released today their Assets and Opportunities Scorecard, where they rate Maryland, along with other states, around how we're doing to build economic security for families. And Maryland does pretty well. We get #1 in policy. We've got some good things happening. But we're down the list. We're down to 22 in terms of outcomes. Families are really strapped with high amount of debt here in Baltimore City and around our state. We have one of the highest rates of families that are unbanked or underbanked. People are not being connected to traditional and safe financial products. We know that people have lower than average credit scores in the Baltimore area, and we know that credit is an asset, right? You need credit in order to get ahead. The IRS data tells us there's only 20,000 families that are not receiving the earned income tax credit. It's about $50 million being left on the table every year in Baltimore City. If I could write a grant for $50 million, trust me, I would. So part of our job is getting those 20,000 families connected. And to do that, we need more sites, we need more capacity to do that. We're going to be celebrating 15 years in style. There'll be parties, there'll be awards, and we're really excited for that. But we're also going to spend this year doing some convening with our coalition partners, because we are a group of coalitions and partners, which is why you all are here today. We invite you to join us on March 8th from 9 a.m. till noon. We're going to be convening folks from other cities around the country who have offices of financial empowerment and looking at best practices and figuring out what our set of recommendations are as a coalition, what our city could be doing more to advance economic security. I've been really amazed and impressed at the amount of people and organizations that have come to the table to get involved in this work. I want to thank Congressman Cummings' office. Sheila Washington is here. Thank you very much. And Congressman Sarbanes for coming today. I especially want to thank our funders who are here and those who are not. The Annie E. Casey Foundation, Yutsi Wu, thank you very much for all of your leadership and support. From the Able Foundation, I know Melanie's here. Thank you very much for being a thought leader with us. Folks from the Strauss Foundation, Krieger, Weinberg, Fund for Change, and of course the IRS. There are many to mention, but I want to thank some of them today. Our tax site partner, Cheryl Commodore, thank you so much right here from 1199 SCIU for helping us out. Our hundreds of volunteers that go through tax training, thank you very much. We're really impressed with our partnership with the Baltimore City Schools. Rudy Rose, thank you very much for being here today. We're doing a lot to try and connect families to financial aid and the FAFSA form. You need to get your taxes done in order to fill those forms out. There's a lot of connection there. We can be doing more to help families get connected to financial aid. And also to our partners at the Maryland Cash Campaign, our statewide partners, thank you very much for your help and support. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that our appointment scheduling lines are open now. Please call 410-234-8008. Lastly, I want to thank my Baltimore Cash Campaign staff. If folks could just give me a shout out really quick. Raise your hands. Thank you. We are a mighty team of 5 with hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. So I really appreciate their dedication and support. They're all working long hours and weekends to make sure that low-income families get the services they need. To GVE Media, who's worked really hard to pull this event together, we really appreciate it. And last but not least, we've received a proclamation from the comptroller. If you wouldn't mind passing me that folder, thank you. In honor of our 15 years. So I just want to, the comptroller could not be with us today, but it did send along this proclamation in recognition of our 15-year anniversary. So we really appreciate that. Looking forward to putting that up in the office. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Pat Leopold, the Vice President of 1199 SCIU.
Good afternoon. I'm Pat Leopold. I'm a Vice President and the Political Director for 1199 Maryland and DC Division, and I am pleased to welcome everyone to our union members' home here. We've hosted the Baltimore Cash Campaign at this site for over the last 10 years, and in the last year alone, 1199 helped get more than 1,000 union members and residents refunds of over $1.7 million. Over the past 10 years, we filed free returns for over 5,000 members and residents, reaping more than $11 million. That's $1 million. As a labor union representing healthcare workers, our mission is to ensure that workers see the full value for their hard work. That's why we've always been a strong supporter of the Baltimore Cash Campaign. We participate not just for our members, but also for our communities, as part of the advocacy work for working families in Maryland. When these families use the Earned Income Tax Credit and get their taxes done free at sites like ours, they're able to move their families forward economically. First, we know when workers get a refund, they first pay down their debt, they pay their bills, but it's interesting to note that nearly 40% of the refunds go to move people forward economically with big purchases like appliances and cars. As the great late Senator Paul Wellstone used to say, we all do better when we all do better. We all benefit when families have financial stability and can plan for their futures. And the Baltimore Cash Campaign is helping our city's families do just that. We are very proud to host the Baltimore Cash Campaign today. I want to commend all of the folks here who've been so supportive and worked so hard for this program, especially our very own Cheryl Commodore. And we look forward in 1199 to be working with you for years to come. I want to thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Congressman Sarbanes to say a few words. We're surprised to have you today and so grateful that you could make some time in your busy schedule to be with us.
Thanks very much. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. I want to thank Sarah for the incredible work of the Cash Campaign and her mighty 5, staff of 5. It's really an accomplishment to get to 15 years of doing anything. But the fact that year in and year out this resource has been here for people in the Baltimore area and beyond so that they can take full advantage of the financial opportunities that are available to them is really a tribute to the work of her staff and frankly to all the partners that she recognized here in the room. I want to thank Pat for welcoming us here, hosting us here at SEIU, and frankly for making this one of the important places people can come to get the assistance. Nobody understands better than 1199 what it means to lift up working people, and that's what this is really all about. Are people going to be able to see into the future? When you're scrambling financially, when you don't know whether you can make it from one day to the next, you can only see but so far in your life. When you begin to get the kind of financial traction that comes from the sorts of refunds that are available through these free tax preparation services, taking full advantage of the earned income tax credit, using that FAFSA form to take advantage of those resources. You begin to push the horizon out. You can begin to plan for the future and make sure that you have that financial security, that you can invest in the next generation, in education for your children, for buying that appliance that you have to keep putting off, but is really fundamental to the quality of life that you can have living in this economy. So, Pat, thank you for hosting us. I want to salute the Annie Casey Foundation for their work. They're one of many partners that's been involved with this effort, and I was just talking to Lisa, and she said at one point when she worked with UPS, she got, on a volunteer basis, she got a lot of folks that understood how the tax code worked and tax preparation, and they provided this service. So it's in her blood to do this kind of work, and it's no surprise that Annie Casey, along with these other foundations, is stepping up and being part of the solution. We're very pleased with the partnership. I say this as a member of the federal delegation, the partnership that the IRS is representing here today, and we want to thank Trish Evans for being here. It's, you know, a lot of times the people want to only cast the IRS in some kind of negative term, but they're an incredible resource to our country and making it work. And in these sorts of partnerships, they're showing that they're ready to step up and work with people so that they can get to that kind of financial security. Yes, indeed. The mayor who will be coming, I know, has been a steadfast and staunch supporter of this effort from its inception. Jack Young, who's here, President of Baltimore City Council, he's here every year. Congressman Cummings, I was with him earlier today. He is a champion, not just for these kinds of services, but for working people here in the Baltimore City region. So it's a great partnership of people who've set forward year in and year out to make sure that these kinds of resources are available. 100,000 people served over 15 years, millions of dollars recovered in terms of the earned income tax credit. I think you said 20,000 families have benefited, $50 million just here in Baltimore City. That's amazing. So I encourage people, call the number, take advantage of these services. You're leaving money on the table that is owed to you if you don't take advantage of these services. And you don't need to go, as Sarah was saying, you don't need to go to some predatory tax preparer who's just looking out for themselves and wants to take a big cut of what's coming to you. You can take advantage of these free tax preparation services. You can get the money that you're owed. Keep your money is the slogan here on the cash campaign, and that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, it's about getting a fair shake in our economy. Everybody should get a fair shake. They should get what they deserve, and they get out there, they work hard, and they try to get ahead for their families. So thank you all very much. Terrific work. Keep it up. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. So next I'd like to welcome Lisa Hamilton, who's the Vice President for External Affairs at the Annie E. Casey Foundation, to say a few words today as well.
Good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Casey Foundation and join with all of you and so many partners around the city and around the state to celebrate the launch of this tax preparation season with the Baltimore Cash Campaign. As you've heard, there is so much this organization has done for the citizens of this city to help them move forward, and we are so very fortunate to have them as a resource here in this community. The Casey Foundation's been a partner in this work since 2001, and in that time we've seen the Baltimore Cash Campaign and its impact grow. We've also been excited to contribute not just financially, but also in terms of volunteers and coaches here in the community. So it's been a wonderful way for our staff to be engaged in this work. And beyond our work here in Baltimore, we have worked hard to make sure that we bring best practices and ideas from around the country to help make Baltimore Cash Campaign strong. As Congressman Sarbanes said, I've started my career as a tax lawyer, and I've been a volunteer at free tax preparation sites, and it has just been so rewarding to see the ways that we can bring resources into the pockets of families who are working so hard every day to support their children and support themselves. And in our work at Casey, we work very hard to make sure that those children and families have a bright future. And so that means we invest all the time to make sure that there are new strategies to help address poverty and economic opportunity, both here at home and around the country. And the Earned Income Tax Credit is such an important way to do that. In recent years, we've worked to help states pass new state EITCs so that families get even more resources that they can take home, and to even expand the EITC to single individuals so that they have access to these resources. So we know there's so much more to do here in Baltimore and around the state. More than a third of Maryland's households don't have the savings that would last 3 months in case of an emergency. And even in Baltimore, up to 25% of the households aren't able to take advantage or aren't taking advantage of the EITC. And so it's vitally important that Casey and others continue to support the Baltimore Cash Campaign because of the great service they provide here in our community. We will continue to partner with them, hope that all of you will continue to partner with them, and congratulate them on their great work over the last 15 years and the launch of a new tax season. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a partner with you.
Thank you very much. It is really great to have the support of so many foundations and large and small philanthropy here in Baltimore. It is, we truly rely on your support to expand our services. I'd like to bring up Sheila East. She is a free tax preparation volunteer and a financial coach and financial educator with Baltimore Cash. She's an all-around great lady and a wonderful volunteer for us. And as I said, we have a full-time staff of 5 and several AmeriCorps members that work their buns off for us. But we couldn't do it without great volunteers like Sheila. So I'd love to hear from her for a few words.
Well, good afternoon. How are you? I was asked to speak about my experiences as a tax free tax preparer. But when I first started out, I was looking for something to give back and to volunteer, and I heard about Baltimore Cash. And I thought that would be great. That's a great organization that I think I could be part of, that I could make a difference. And so I contacted them, and I've been working there now, volunteering there now for 3 years, and 2 years as a tax preparer. I also work as a financial coach, which what we do is we recognize that the clients have the skills, the resources, the creativity really to address their financial issues. And what we do as coaches is we give them assistance and we give them encouragement. And as the financial educator, facilitator, we give workshops which give people tools and education. But the really thing that really excites me is being a tax prep. I'm a retired CPA, and I've worked with commercial preparers in the past. I've worked also privately, and I know about the fees that people are charged. I know about the products that are promoted. So when I work with Baltimore Cash and I see the amount of money that we are really saving tax preparers, I really can identify with that. So it's just been such a joy for me to give back in that way and to take the expertise that I have in order to impart and help the citizens of Baltimore. And I think what really cements that for me is last year I had a tax client from Baltimore Cash, and she saw how much she was really saving, the fees, and plus her return. And we talked, and I said, well, you can do some things with those saved fees. And she started savings bonds for her 2 children. She was so excited about that. And she said, you know what, I'm going to do that now every year. So you can see the impact that that's had on that family. Not only is the mom, she's saying, okay, I can do something for my children's future. But those are just the great moments that, as a volunteer, that you really take to heart and you realize you are really making a difference. So I thank Baltimore Cash for giving me that opportunity to give back. And I just wanted to briefly be able to say that and keep up the good work, Baltimore Cash. And I hope I'm part of that.
could not do it without people like Sheila in our community that really help. Neighbors helping neighbor is really, really inspiring. I want to echo Congressman Sarbanes' comments about the IRS. They can be warm and friendly, fuzzy people. Well, maybe not so fuzzy. Maybe not so much. They like things clear and in folders and well labeled. But I want to invite Trish Evans, the Director of Distribution from the IRS, to come to the stage. We really appreciate their partnership and support.
Well, thank you for that welcome, so I'll try to be fuzzy. I am thrilled to be here again. I've done this for a couple of years now. This is a really important event to me. And before I share the particulars of why it's so important to me, which are personal as well as business, I'd like to thank, by name, some of the folks that make this happen with this partnership. Rob Bader, Sharon Baldwin, Francesca Jean-Baptiste, Courtney Badel, there she is, Moses, and I always say your last name incorrectly, Embriana. I'm sorry. Tracy Kwame, who's with me as a partner, and Sarah Johnson. This year marks our 10th National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day effort. And for over 40 years, we've had the Earned Income Tax Credit. I'm so used to saying EITC that when I have to say it out, it's difficult, and coming from the IRS, that is funny, folks. But most of all, I want to share with you why this really matters to be here every year. I was a single mom, and I had a little boy, and I had very low earnings. And we've all heard how important it is for folks that wait to pay their electrical bills with this. And I was meeting my basic living needs, but my EITC credit every year was things like tires for my car. So I have great passion around this. Years later, I joined the IRS, and I did return prep, and I listened. And it was predominantly younger women that came in, and I helped them with their returns. And one of the things that struck me the most was a young woman that came in, and when I showed her, her paperwork and where we were and what her anticipated refund would be, she said, "Oh, my son, my 5-year-old, has 6 cavities. I can get them fixed." And I've never forgotten that. It's not paying the electrical bill, but it's something really important. So that will always stay with me, and that's why I'm always more than welcome to be here, because I just feel strongly about this. Now to get on to the stats, and it's millions of people that benefit every year from this, and we still have many people missing out on it. And the average refund is over $2,400 for a family this year. And that can be the single most amount of money for that family in a given year that a worker receives at one time. In fact, the Earned Income Tax Credit lifts more than 9 million people out of the poverty level annually. And 5 million of those are children. Last year, more than 27.5 million taxpayers received almost, we like that paper, received almost 66.7 billion in EITC nationally. Here in Maryland, 420,000 families received 891 million in state EICT. There's a lot of money added to your state economy, but more importantly, it puts the money back in the hands of the workers. So that's why we're here today. Our message is simple. We want to tell workers that if you earn over $54,000, if you earn $54,000 a year or less from wages, from running a business or a farm last year, you need to see if you qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. On behalf of the IRS, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Trish. Thanks so much for your words and for your partnership on this work. It really means a lot, and that personal story really carries a lot of weight. Those are stories I know our volunteers and our staff have those as well. I would also like to welcome Madam Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake to say a few words. We've really appreciated her support in championing this work from her vantage point, and thank you very much for making time on your very busy schedule to be there with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah, much rather be here than shoveling. So I'm going to be very brief. Trish, I don't think anybody could say it better, and I didn't get your name, but just as I came in, Bill, on your presentation, you know, that says it. You know, that we are using this opportunity, National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day, to bring awareness to a significant resource that our community needs. There's nothing like being in need and not knowing where to turn. And you know, when it was funny, they were introducing Trish, and there's some anxiety, even for me, about the tax payers. I said, I know y'all better clap your hands. That's the IRS. You don't clap for anybody else. I'm like, I clapped twice. But I'm joking, but I'm serious at the same time. There's anxiety around that because, you know, it is one of those things that we're all obligated to do. And there's some sense that you're supposed to have an understanding about it, whether you do or not, right? And when you are in need of good information and you feel like everybody else knows but you can be stuck. And to have some, the tax preparers, volunteers in the community who care so much about making sure people have access to good information, you know, that's why we're here to celebrate the hard work and the anniversary. I have a special citation for the anniversary of the cash campaign, because that's what it's about. People who care about service to the community, connecting people, because we know that none of us got here by ourselves. And if we can make a difference in somebody's life in a way that gives them, helps them to create financial freedom and create these pathways that we just saw here today, it's really significant. So I want to thank all of the partners who are here. I want to thank the longtime investments of N.E. Casey Foundation, the Able Foundation, the Aaron Strauss and Lily Strauss Foundation, and the partnership with the IRS. We always, and I know that I missed Congressman Sarbanes, but he talks about it, Congressman Cummings talks about it. You know, that the phrase that we use when we talk about the cash campaign of people who have more month than money. And this makes such a big difference when your checking account is at zero, and when you are desperate to fill that gap. That is this work. And for the past 15 years, the Baltimore Cash Campaign has been putting money back into the pockets of hard-working families in Baltimore. Each year, the number goes up and up and up, and I'm extremely pleased to be able to celebrate that. And then to also talk about the fact that, you know, it is more than just getting the return, but getting people a leg up on financial literacy, so they can make sure that however they got there, you know, to this situation where they were in need of these services, that they pass on, that we pass on better information and habits to our young people. That is power. So I am very grateful to be here with all of you to celebrate. I wanted to thank my Community Action Partnership that will again host 4 sites this year. So please, let's help us to get the word out. And I would like you to come up. I hope that's not my phone. I have a certificate of recognition on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore. I'm here to present this certificate to the Baltimore Cash Campaign in recognition of your 15th anniversary. Thank you for helping Baltimore residents maximize their financial opportunity and resources. As mayor of the city of Baltimore, and personally, I offer my sincere gratitude and appreciation for making work pay for many citizens in our city. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I was surprised. I love these fun certificates for our office. That's awesome. Yay! So last but not least, I'd like to welcome Jack Young, City Council President, to say a few remarks.
I want to be very brief. Thank you. Everybody has already said everything that I would say, so I would just like to thank Pat for opening up this office for this announcement, and just to thank all of the volunteers for the hard work that you do day in and day out to make sure that our citizens have a place to come and get their taxes done for free. Just this morning, I heard some news that One tax preparer is being investigated for some unscrupulous things that they did. So that's why they need to come to Cash Campaign, so that they can make sure that they're getting what they're supposed to get and not paying people to rob and take from them. So again, thank you for having me here, and happy 15th anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So in closing today, I'm going to show you this beautiful flyer with this adorable piggy bank on it, and remind you that we have 15 sites in Baltimore City and 2 sites in the county. Please go to bemorefreetaxes.org and make your appointment now. Appointments do fill up. We hope to serve 10,000 households this year and even more moving forward. Thank you very much again to all my team, all our funders, all our friends and family here that support our work. And I look forward to reporting out on a great tax season in the spring, right before we all take a little vacation, before we start planning again. I look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you.